This is Late Night Lee Talks TV. I'm Late Night Lee and I talk reality TV dating shows such as Love is Blind, The Ultimatum, Ready to Love, Married at First Sight, and Love Island, just to name a few. So if you enjoy watching that type of content, then please go ahead and subscribe to the channel so that you don't miss out on when I upload a new video. Now, this video will be a little bit different because I'm going to be talking about some hot topics, some things that's just grinding my gears, okay? I want to talk about Cameron. Cameron and his appearance on the Abby Phillips show on CNN. Now, I'm not sure if that was her own show. I think it was. But anyway, he appeared as a guest and he was asked to talk about Diddy. And specifically, Abby Phillip asked him, is this some kind of known thing in the industry that, people knew behind closed doors what was going on with Diddy and kind of just, have they been ignoring it? And that's something that people believe to be true. This stuff with Diddy, it's not new. We just have some details that are now public in a video that's public, but we don't, people allegedly have been saying, this guy is not who he pretends to be. And I'm not going to lie. I also, I liked Diddy because I loved how he was with his kids. But, it's weird when you see someone that age constantly dating women half his age, never been married, just a playboy with all these baby mamas. Yes, those type of men definitely give me pause. But I thought he was a great businessman who is managed to stay relevant, become a billionaire, and it was all smoke and mirrors. So, of course, Cameron is on this show to talk about Diddy. And Cameron says, you guys, I'm sure you've seen the video, but he pretty much refuses to talk about Diddy, saying that, he didn't work with him. That was Mace, and saying he didn't want to discuss that. And he wanted to plug his YouTube show. And, before he even answered the question, he looked like he took a shot or whatever he drunk. And then he said he's going to get some cheeks tonight. And of course, that's a reference to something sexual. And it's like, you're on CNN. And then he said, who booked this joint? Why did y'all I don't want to talk about this on live TV. That was just so deplorable for so many reasons. Reason number one, he did that to the only Black woman I know of on CNN. Now, I believe there might be one or two others, but I think she's the only one that has a show. So why would you do that to her? Now, had it been another person, non-Black person, I wouldn't be personally offended. I'm not going to lie to you. But as a Black woman, you should not have embarrassed that Black woman like that on a platform like CNN. This is not YouTube, okay? This is CNN. How could he do that? I just wouldn't do that to a Black woman. And then he tried to lie. And for the people who are defending him, they're just as bad. Because if Abby Phillip was your sister, your friend, your daughter, you wouldn't want someone embarrassing her. What do you think that's doing for her and her reputation amongst her colleagues and on the show? You have people on your show who act like that? It's disgusting. It's disgusting for him to do that to the only Black woman that has her show on CNN, on that type of a platform. It truly is just disturbing. But anyway, he lied. Here's the thing. He is upset because he feels like pretty much CNN brought him on there to talk about Zitty, but not talk about all the things he's doing in his community that's good. Sir, what you're doing in your community may be great, but good things do not make the news. We know that. Drama, shocking things, bad things make the news. It just is what it is. That's why a lot of people don't even like watching the news, because it's never anything good. Okay? But had he been smart, he could have simply said, my friends and the co-host of my YouTube show that comes on, I don't know when it comes on, but I'm just going to say Wednesdays at 12, Mace, he previously worked with Diddy and he had a bad relationship with Diddy. And it was so bad that he left the music industry and found God. So it is that is true, right? We know that to be true. But he could have said, you know what? But Mace and I, we've changed our lives around, and now we are mentors to children. We donate to our local schools. He could have spent it that way. I'm not even in media, and I can do that. This man has been a rapper for like 30 years. You've been in the industry for 30 years, and I can spend that quicker than he can. Like, all you had to do is say, I never worked with him, but my friend worked with him, Mace. We have a show that comes on, again, on YouTube, Wednesdays at 12 o'clock. I don't know if that's the exact, it's probably not. I'm just messing. I'm just giving you an example. But he could have just simply said, hey, we have heard, negativity. He didn't have a good working relationship with him, but we decided to turn our lives around and we do these positive things because we truly do want to help our community. He could have flipped the subject. He could have flipped the subjects, but no, he has to act like an immature child. And as somebody who is originally from New York, and as somebody who knows men from New York, as somebody who, cannot stand that mentality of men from New York who just will not let that, gotta keep it real mentality go. It's disgusting. That black woman on CNN, who's one of the only ones, did not deserve to be embarrassed like that. And if you are stupid enough to think that people are calling you to be on CNN and they're not telling you what you're going to talk about, giving you talking points, and they're not prepping you in advance, then you are foolish. You're foolish. Them people at CNN told that man what he was going to talk about, and he's just mad and salty that they didn't want to talk about him. Well, Cameron, we don't need to talk about you. We don't care what you have going on. All you do is disrespect people. But you know what? I can't even, I can't hold him because he disrespects people on his show as well. He disrespects black women all the time. So I can't expect him to respect a black woman. I can't ask. I'm asking for too much. I really am. But at his big grown age, of what, like 50? Like, what are you doing, sir? You knew that they were going to talk to you about Diddy. If you didn't want to be on there, you shouldn't have been on there to talk about that. Or you could have said, there are a lot of negative things that he says, but I focus on the positive things, like doing XYZ for my community. Boom. Like, it's not that hard. It's not that hard. But to embarrass that black woman like that, disgusting. Disgusting. And it was uncalled for. Oh, my God. Yeah, I'm tired. All right, so I want to talk about Simone Biles next. Simone Biles and her husband. Whew, child. Okay, so, of course, last year, December, her husband, Jonathan Owens, he's a football player, NFL player, and he did an interview with the Pivot podcast. The Pivot Podcast is a podcast with about 3 or 4 retired NFL players. Okay? And these men, I believe, probably in their late 30s, early 40s. So they're not, the Shannon Sharps. They're definitely a younger group of men. And Jonathan Owens does this interview. Now, Simone Biles is there, but she's in the background. She's not like a featured guest that's really doing any talking. It's just him. I did watch the interview. He pretty much talks about his career and his journey. So he was not drafted. So if you don't know anything about football or about sports, so usually there is a draft, right, for every sporting event and for every sport. And he was not drafted. So he was not drafted, meaning that he was not, a standout star in college who was sought after. And a lot of people, even though they may not have been drafted or they were drafted super late, they can still try out for the teams and make a team and still, as long as you get in the league, you can still become a breakout star. So he talked about his journey. So keep in mind, he was not drafted. So, he's not somebody who got a multi-million-dollar contract. Okay? So that's what that also entails as well. So he wasn't drafted. He had to try out for different teams. And he has been on several different teams in the 6 or 7 years he's been in the NFL. And he just got traded from the Green Bay Packers to another team. I think it's the Chicago Bears. I'm not sure. So yeah, he is someone who moves around from team to team. And when he signed a contract, I believe it was for 1 year, 2 years, 1 million, something like that. So he's not an NFL player that's making, a lot of money. And you also have to remember, okay, he might have $1 million or $2 million contract, but he also has, Uncle Sam gonna get his cut. And then an agency, your agent or whatever, is going to get a percentage of that, right? So when you hear $1 million or $2 million, just cut that in half, because once people start getting their percentages, I can't speak, their percentages, and once, taxes come into play, yeah. So he's not someone who is a known or a popular football player. And that's fine, because he's been in the NFL now for 6 seasons. So, that's better than none, right? So he is on this podcast and he's talking about his journey, about how he had to work really hard and be really focused in order to get on a team, because he had to try out for these teams. And he talks about his stuff with how he met Simone Biles. They met on a dating app for celebrities. And he points out that she drove 45 minutes to meet him. And pretty much he paints it as though she's thirsty for him. He paints it as though he wasn't ready to settle down because he had only been in the league for a couple of years. So, AKA, I was young and having fun. And that's fine. But he mentions all of those things, and oh man, he gets to the conversation of, he feels like he's the cat. Oh, he also said that he didn't know who Simone Biles was, which is really hard to believe, because, this is a professional athlete who I'm sure follows a ton of sports pages based on sports, or watches ESPN and all of that. So to not know who this Olympic athlete is, she's someone who stands out. Now, most of us don't know Olympic athletes' names, right? But Simone Biles is Black. So, of course, she's definitely standing out to the Black people. Her every time she wins, I think that is, we see that on the famous Black blogs, like, the shade rooms and all of that. So whenever Black people do well, on the Black publications, they get amplified, okay, as opposed to like white athletes. So it's hard to believe, because most of us, we're not sitting around and watching the Olympics, but we know of Simone Biles because her face is everywhere. Articles about her is everywhere. Pictures of her is everywhere. And, for him to act like he never knew who she was, it's just, even the guys that were interviewing him were like, that's cap. They didn't believe him. And then he pretty much made it seem as though Simone was the one who wanted him and he wasn't ready for all of that. Okay? And then he talked about, so one of the guys says, okay, mind you, this is a sports show created by retired NFL players, and they tend to have professional athletes on the show. Now, this retired professional athlete told this active professional athlete, I don't care about none of that. How did you meet Simone Biles? And it was just like, wow, that was rude. But, that was what they wanted to know. That was the big thing. That was the thing that, of course, many people want to know. How did you meet Simone? So he's telling the story about how they met on the app. But then, he says, well, I'm the catch. How did Simone Biles meet me? I'm the catch. And then he goes on to say, I always think men are the catch. And the guys were looking at him like, no, like, you're just because you're an NFL player and you're making money, it doesn't mean that you're the catch. Now, to the average, Instagram model, you would be the catch, right? But to a Simone Biles, she, big bank, take little bank, like she's worldwide. No, you know what I mean? Like we know her, you know what I mean? You see her face, don't gotta see her name. You know her, but we don't know him like that. And he's not a standout star breakout player on his team, to be quite honest, or any of the teams he's been on. So it's just weird that he would say that and he would talk like that. And he really gives that Kevin Samuels mentality, or that red pill mentality of, he said, I always think men are the prize. And it's like, oh my God. So that part went viral. People were pretty much saying, girl, you need to run. He's not the guy for you. He just thinks that, he's better than you. And then, also during the interview, one of the men, he said to him, is it safe to say that you didn't want Simone Biles? And he, like, for a grown man to ask that, to me, it was because that's the vibe he was giving off. And they wouldn't have asked that if that's not how it came across. And that is how it came across, okay? And, he tries to backtrack like, no, I did want her. Now, mind you, this couple, they got engaged and married within like 2 years. So, he definitely did right by her. And, I'm sure he loves her and cares about her. I follow her on social media. She's posting all these cute gifts he would buy for her randomly, and I hope that she is happy. But a lot of people feel like, girl, you need to run. This man thinks that he's better than you. And she also admitted in an interview that he likes to, like, he won't admit, well, he will pretty much argue with her about what sport is tougher, gymnastics or football. And she says, like, it causes issues, so they kind of just agreed not to bring it up. And I'm like, what? Or they argue about, like, who's the better athlete. And it's like, what? Girl, come on. Come on. And let me tell you something. Jonathan, he's a good-looking guy. He's, of course, in shape, nice body, I'm sure. And I believe Simone is very much attracted to him. Okay? Very much attracted to him. But it's like, girl, are you so focused on the looks that you can't spot the red flags? Now, she is like, she's going online. At that time, of course, she went online and she was like, we're good, we're happy. That's not what he meant. Yada, yada, yada. And of course, now the Olympics is getting ready to start up in Paris this summer. We're seeing her do the tryouts and finals and all that stuff. And of course, we're seeing more of her because she's getting ready to go to the Summer Olympics. And she had to post like, oh, I'm tired of people. Enough is enough. Stop disrespecting my husband. If you don't support us, don't follow us. And she tired. She tired of people talking crap. But they wouldn't be talking crap if it wasn't for that interview, if it wasn't for what he said. He went on that interview and he talked as though he feels like he's the prize. And, she chased him. She wanted him. He wasn't ready, but he chose to settle down with her. He just wasn't talking like a man should. Okay, here's the thing. We know signs of healthy love, right? We see people like Kadeen and DeVal Ellis. And DeVal, we see him love on her. We see him always big her up. They joke around, play around, all that good stuff. And he just he has like a lot of value. He gives her like just so much value. So, for us, it's like, we are seeing healthy, Black love on social media. So like, why are you, like, don't try to shove, not so healthy love in our face. Right. And we see Serena Williams and her husband, Alexis Ohanian. Now, Alexis Ohanian is the co-founder of Reddit. So his money long, okay? Their bank accounts might be pretty up there together. They're not, too far going from each other, okay? He also invests in a lot of different businesses. I did see, like, sometime, I think it was in 2022, some company that he invested in went public, and I think he made like $200 million from that alone. So, yes, he makes bank. He, is the co-founder of Reddit. He also invests in other companies as well. But he stands for Serena Williams. He be at the games with her shirts on, not the best female athlete of all time. No, she's just the best athlete of all time. Like he stands that woman. He stands for her. I just saw the cutest thing where he surprised her. Alexis Ohanian surprised Serena Williams and showed her how he was collecting rare not baseball cards, but rare sports cards of hers. And he was like, of course those things are super valuable. And, when she is retired, technically she is retired, but maybe 20 years down the line, these things are going to be worth a lot of money. And he had a whole like presentation of like all the cards, and she was just shocked. And like this man, this man is like collecting her freaking cards and just making sure her legacy is intact, things that can be passed down to their daughters. Like, he stands this woman and he doesn't feel like less of a man because of it. And I love that for him. He knows. We know his wallet fat, but he still very much supports her. And it's beautiful to see that beautiful, very much talented woman, Black woman, be loved on the right way. So for me and many others, we're like, girl, the way that man was talking about you, and I'm not going to lie, I always would think that women are the prize. But even when I think about my partner and how amazing he is to me, I have to say, no, I think we're each other's prizes. Knowing about our past relationships and our past dating history, I think that we are both each other's prizes. So it's just, for me, I don't comment negativity about Simone and her husband. I don't do that. But a lot of people do. And it's getting to her. And y'all, she got the Olympics about to come up. Leave that girl alone. Leave her and her husband alone, because we need her to bring home the gold, okay? We need her to just let them know one more again that she is the GOAT. And just keep reminding them. And good luck to her at the Olympics. But y'all, but a lot of people are saying, if their relationship does come to an end, they're going to point back to that to that podcast and that interview that he did, which is very much giving red flag city. However, we're just going to hope that maybe he just didn't realize how he was talking and how it came across. And we know he ain't doing no interviews again anytime soon. And we're just going to hope that he is treating Miss Simone like the queen that she is. And it's going to be very interesting to see, how he goes up for her when she wins those gold medals this summer, hopefully. But child, she clearly loves that man. She want to stay with him. Ain't nothing we could do about it. So y'all stop getting on in her comments about how he is Mr. Simone Biles and how nobody knows his name. All right, y'all. Those are my thoughts on those hot topics. Cameron disrespecting that Black Queen Abby Phillip on CNN with his lying, ghetto, trashy tale. And Simone Biles and her husband, Jonathan Owens. And we're going to wish the best for them. Okay? Comment down below your thoughts. Let's have a chat. I would love to hear what you guys have to say. If you want me to do more hot topics, I will. Give me some suggestions in the comments on what you want me to talk about. This is Late Night Ali Talks TV. I'm Late Night Ali, and I'm signing out. Don't forget to like the video.